What if everything we have been told about wrinkles is only part of the truth? For a long time, wrinkles have been explained as a simple outcome of aging, a natural effect of years passing on the calendar. Standard dermatology explains this through thinning layers of the dermis, weakening collagen structures, and reduced elastin, the framework that keeps skin firm and elastic. But newer biological research is pointing to something more complex. Wrinkles are not just passive marks of time. They are outward expressions of active biological systems. They reflect continuous interaction between genes, the vascular network, immune responses, and even the vast microbial ecosystem living on the skin surface. This means wrinkles are not only cosmetic changes. They are visible outcomes of deeper physiological activity, processes that modern science is beginning to show may be influenced. When researchers at Harvard Medical School and the National Institutes of Health examined skin aging at a molecular scale, they uncovered an important insight. The same core systems that defend the body from illness, such as blood vessel formation, tissue repair, immune activity, and cellular regeneration, are also directly involved in how skin changes over time. What they found was striking. When these biological systems function well, the skin can actively repair itself. Collagen production can increase. Microcirculation improves. Inflammation can decrease. This suggests that skin aging is far more adaptable than previously assumed. From this perspective, wrinkles are not fixed outcomes. They are signs of shifting internal conditions, influenced by multiple interconnected systems. The focus then shifts toward understanding what can influence these mechanisms. Nutrition, sleep quality, stress levels, and cellular energy all appear to play roles in how skin biology behaves. Many of these factors are often outside the scope of routine dermatology visits, yet they may be central to long-term skin health. At its foundation, skin is a structured biological system. Beneath the surface is a network built largely from collagen, a protein that provides strength and support much like the framework of a building. When this structure is strong, skin remains smooth and resilient. When it weakens, the surface begins to fold and crease. For many years, cosmetic approaches have attempted to address this from the outside. Collagen-based creams were introduced with the idea of restoring firmness. However, a key biological limitation exists. Collagen molecules are too large to penetrate deeply into the skin layers. This means external application cannot easily rebuild internal structure. This leads to a more important question. How does the body activate its own collagen production again? Inside the skin are specialized cells known as fibroblasts. These cells are responsible for producing collagen continuously. However, as the body ages, their activity slows. Their signaling becomes less responsive, and collagen formation gradually decreases. Even so, research shows these cells are not permanently inactive. They respond to signals from the bloodstream, immune system activity, and nutrient availability. They remain biologically responsive to the internal environment. One key driver of collagen synthesis is vitamin C. It plays an essential role in enzymatic processes that stabilize collagen structure. Without adequate vitamin C, collagen formation becomes defective. Historical cases of severe deficiency, such as scurvy, demonstrated this clearly, leading to fragile skin and bleeding gums. Further studies have highlighted the role of plant compounds known as polyphenols. These compounds appear to support fibroblast function by reducing oxidative stress. Foods such as berries, green tea, and pomegranates contain high levels of these compounds. Laboratory findings suggest they may help protect collagen structures from damage linked to ultraviolet exposure and inflammation. Researchers at Harvard Medical School have also examined the role of circulation. Fibroblasts require oxygen and amino acids to build collagen effectively. Without sufficient microcirculation delivering these resources, the repair process slows down significantly. This leads to a broader understanding. Skin regeneration depends not only on nutrients but also on delivery systems that transport them. Collagen formation is supported by both raw materials and an efficient vascular network. As a result, periods of poor nutrition or sustained stress often correlate with visible changes in skin quality. Reduced repair capacity can appear relatively quickly when biological resources become limited. Fibroblasts, however, can respond again when conditions improve, sometimes within days or weeks. This raises a larger question about skin aging itself. What if long-term skin appearance is shaped less by surface treatments and more by the internal systems that support regeneration and circulation? Have you ever noticed that soft, radiant look people often show after a fast walk or a workout? That glow is not just appearance. It reflects increased blood flow through activated capillary networks, carrying oxygen and nutrients directly to skin cells. Now imagine this process continuing over long periods of time. When circulation improves, more resources reach fibroblasts for collagen formation. Immune activity becomes more effective at clearing damaged cells. Waste products that contribute to inflammation are removed more efficiently. From this perspective, the second key to reducing wrinkles appears simple. Strengthen vascular health. Consume foods rich in natural flavonoids. Keep the body in regular motion. Support circulation as a daily function rather than an occasional event. If this idea changes how skin health is understood, it opens a wider biological picture. Under the surface of collagen structure and blood flow lies another major influence on aging: inflammation. There is the familiar type of inflammation that occurs after injury, such as a cut or a sprain. That response is acute. It is controlled, temporary, and essential for healing. Immune cells arrive to repair tissue, then the process shuts down once recovery is complete. But modern research has identified a different form. It is subtle. It is long-lasting. It develops quietly across time. Scientists refer to it as inflammaging. This describes a persistent low-grade inflammatory state that builds gradually over years and decades. It is now recognized as a major biological factor in aging. It influences cardiovascular conditions, neurodegeneration, and also visible skin aging. Researchers at the National Institutes of Health have found that inflammatory signaling molecules, especially cytokines, activate enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases. Their function is direct. They break down collagen. It can be imagined as a structure being built over time, only for microscopic forces to slowly dismantle it brick by brick. This is what chronic inflammation does to the collagen framework of the skin. What makes this process complex is the number of everyday influences that affect inflammation levels. Ultraviolet radiation exposure is one factor. Air pollution is another. Poor sleep patterns, psychological stress, ultra-processed diets, and chronic dehydration all contribute to higher inflammatory signaling. In dermatology, attention is often placed on topical solutions such as sunscreen, serums, or retinoids. These can provide support. However, inflammation is not limited to the surface of the skin. It originates within the broader systemic environment. Diet is one of the strongest contributors. Diets high in refined carbohydrates and processed oils tend to raise inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. These signals travel through circulation and reach every tissue, including the skin. In contrast, certain foods are associated with reduced inflammatory activity. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel contain omega-3 fatty acids that help resolve inflammation. Leafy greens, turmeric, extra virgin olive oil, and colorful vegetables provide antioxidants that neutralize reactive oxygen species before they trigger inflammatory cascades. Large-scale nutritional research, including studies from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, has linked Mediterranean-style dietary patterns with lower inflammatory biomarkers in individuals who follow them consistently. However, diet is only one part of the system. Stress biology also plays a central role. When the body remains in prolonged psychological stress, cortisol and related hormones are released repeatedly. These hormones are designed for short-term survival responses. Over time, they can disrupt immune regulation and increase inflammatory activity. Many people notice that skin appears more tired, less vibrant, or more reactive during stressful periods. This is not a surface-level effect alone. It reflects underlying immune and biochemical signaling patterns affecting skin physiology. From this understanding, the third key to reducing wrinkles is not a product. It is the reduction of chronic internal inflammation. This involves supporting the body with anti-inflammatory nutrition, limiting environmental stress exposure, prioritizing restorative sleep, and allowing periods where the nervous system can shift into recovery mode. When inflammation decreases, a significant change occurs. Collagen production becomes more efficient. Cellular renewal improves. Vascular function becomes more stable. The skin reflects this internal balance. If we could observe the skin at microscopic scale, it would not appear as a smooth, empty surface. It would resemble a dense and active biological ecosystem filled with countless microorganisms. Bacteria, fungi, and viruses exist together across the skin surface. This is known as the skin microbiome. For many years, these organisms were treated primarily as harmful. The focus was on removal through antibacterial soaps, strong cleansers, and sterilizing agents. Modern research from institutions such as Stanford University and the National Institutes of Health has changed this perspective. Many of these microbes are not threats. They function as protective partners. They form a biological barrier that helps regulate inflammation, maintain hydration, and support skin barrier repair. The skin microbiome can be understood as a living ecological system. Like a rainforest, it depends on diversity and balance. In a stable ecosystem, each organism contributes to overall function. Removing too many elements destabilizes the system, allowing harmful organisms to dominate and weakening the environment. A balanced microbiome produces compounds that suppress harmful bacteria and regulate inflammatory responses. It helps maintain skin pH, strengthens moisture retention, and influences immune behavior in response to environmental stress. When this balance is disrupted through over-cleansing, harsh chemical exposure, frequent antibiotic use, or chronic stress, the system shifts. Inflammation rises, barrier function weakens, moisture loss increases. Over time, these changes contribute to accelerated skin aging and wrinkle formation. One of the most notable aspects of this system is that support often comes from reduction rather than addition. Gentle cleansing can be more beneficial than aggressive scrubbing. Avoiding unnecessary antibacterial products helps preserve beneficial microbial populations. Allowing natural skin oils to remain supports microbial nourishment. Diet also plays a role through the gut-skin connection, often described as the gut-skin axis. The gut microbiome and skin microbiome communicate through immune and metabolic pathways. Foods high in fiber, fermented products such as yogurt and kimchi, and plant-based nutrients encourage microbial diversity in the gut. This diversity influences immune signals that extend to the skin. Many people observe that digestive balance is reflected in skin clarity and resilience. Scientific research is increasingly supporting this connection. The microbiome is not passive. It actively participates in immune regulation, tissue repair, and aging processes across the skin. Is this conversation helpful so far? A moment of reflection may begin here. The way the body is treated internally shapes far more than we often realize. When we understand skin as part of a wider biological system, it becomes clear that human cells and microbial partners function in continuous coordination. Now consider a simple image. A slice of bread left too long in a toaster. The surface slowly darkens. It hardens. It becomes fragile and brittle. Chemically, this comes from a reaction between sugars and proteins exposed to heat, forming compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. A similar process can occur inside the human body. Not with heat and bread, but within living tissues. When excess glucose circulates in the bloodstream, it can bind to structural proteins such as collagen and elastin. Over time, these sugar-protein connections create rigid crosslinks. The fibers lose flexibility. The skin becomes less supple. Wrinkles deepen and persist. This process is known as glycation. Researchers studying aging biology at the National Institutes of Health have identified it as a major biochemical contributor to tissue aging throughout the body. Once collagen becomes glycated, its ability to repair itself decreases. It also becomes more vulnerable to oxidative stress. Imagine collagen fibers as small elastic springs within the skin. When they are new and flexible, they absorb movement easily. Smiling, blinking, and facial expression leave no lasting damage. But when glycation stiffens them, the same movements begin to leave permanent lines. Today's modern diet plays a central role in this process. Highly refined carbohydrates, sugary drinks, and ultra-processed foods create repeated spikes in blood glucose. Each spike increases the chance of glucose binding to proteins across the body. Over years, this gradual biochemical accumulation affects skin structure directly. In informal dermatology discussions, this is sometimes referred to as sugar sag. Yet the biological reality is more complex than the phrase suggests. The human body does have protective systems that slow glycation. Antioxidants from colorful fruits and vegetables help reduce oxidative stress that intensifies the damage. Spices such as cinnamon and turmeric may influence glucose metabolism and inflammatory pathways. However, one of the most effective mechanisms is simple: stabilizing blood sugar levels. When meals contain balanced fiber, protein, and healthy fats, Glucose enters the bloodstream gradually. This reduces sharp spikes that trigger glycation reactions. Compare two meals. One is a sweet pastry with sweetened coffee. Blood sugar rises quickly, insulin levels spike, and glycation processes become more likely. The other includes eggs, berries, nuts, and whole grains. The total energy may be similar, but the metabolic response is slower and more stable. Over thousands of meals across a lifetime, these differences accumulate into visible biological outcomes. Skin elasticity can be preserved for longer periods when metabolic stability is maintained. This leads to a central idea. Glycation is not only about single choices, but about long-term dietary patterns shaping the biochemical environment of the body. The fifth key to reducing wrinkles is therefore metabolic awareness. Favor whole foods that maintain steady glucose levels. Reduce excess refined sugar intake. Combine carbohydrates with fiber and protein to slow absorption. These repeated small decisions influence collagen chemistry every day. Over time, they help preserve structural flexibility in the skin. Beyond metabolism, another powerful biological process operates continuously inside the body. Sleep. Each night, as the body transitions into rest, brain activity slows and muscle tone decreases. Yet internally, biological activity increases in highly organized ways. Hormones circulate, immune systems recalibrate, damaged proteins are broken down, and DNA repair mechanisms correct daily cellular errors. Sleep functions as a highly coordinated repair system. The skin is one of its primary beneficiaries. During deep sleep, growth hormone is released. This hormone stimulates cellular regeneration and protein synthesis. Collagen is actively rebuilt during this phase, restoring structural integrity in the skin. When sleep is consistent and restorative, fibroblasts receive strong signals to rebuild collagen networks. Micro-damage caused by sun exposure, pollution, and facial movement begins to repair itself. However, when sleep becomes insufficient or fragmented, this repair cycle is disrupted. Researchers in sleep biology at the University of California, San Francisco have observed that sleep deprivation increases cortisol levels. Elevated cortisol enhances inflammatory signaling and accelerates collagen breakdown. At the same time, reduced growth hormone release slows regeneration. This creates a dual effect: increased damage and reduced repair. Over time, skin becomes thinner, less elastic, and more prone to visible aging. Another key mechanism occurs during sleep. The body activates processes that clear reactive oxygen species. These molecules are generated through ultraviolet exposure, pollution, and normal metabolism. If not cleared, they damage lipids, proteins, and DNA inside cells. Sleep allows these harmful byproducts to be processed and removed. When sleep is consistently reduced night after night, oxidative stress accumulates. This gradually contributes to visible signs of aging in the skin. Even a single night of poor sleep can lead to noticeable dullness the next day. This reflects underlying biological disruption. In contrast, maintaining consistent sleep of 7 to 8 hours allows full repair cycles to function. Hormonal rhythms stabilize, inflammation decreases, circulation improves over time. These effects compound into stronger tissue integrity and healthier skin. The sixth key to reducing wrinkles is therefore the protection of sleep as a biological necessity. Supporting circadian rhythm is essential. Evening light exposure should be reduced. Screen time before bed should be limited. Sleep schedules should remain consistent whenever possible. Even exposure to natural morning light helps regulate internal timing systems. Sleep is not simply rest. It is a biological reset process, a nightly phase where cellular repair is prioritized. Understanding sleep in this way reframes its importance. It becomes a long-term investment in skin regeneration and overall biological resilience. All of these systems connect: metabolism, circulation, inflammation, microbiome balance, glycation, and sleep are not isolated mechanisms. They form an interconnected network shaping how the body ages. And within this network, skin reflects internal biological states with remarkable clarity. This broader perspective shifts the understanding of aging itself. It is not a single pathway. It is a coordinated interaction of multiple systems over time. Please leave your thoughts about this content in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.